Hey everyone, Mango7Roll here. How we doing today? Welcome to another episode of Continuous Drama. They've actually respawned at this point. I have not looked at it yet, but we're gonna look at it in just a brief moment here. I do want to mention something really quickly though. I'm going to be adding new things to the membership section of the channel over the course of the next little while. It's going to be happening pretty semi-rapid pace with different tiers and different things, and we're going to incorporate different fun stuff, but also the base one is going to stay basically the same, and that's what's added right now. So if you want to join as a member, I think it's the same as a T1 sub from Twitch. Greatly helps the channel as well, but you also get a little bit of background information from me. So you see this disaster right now in front of you. This is a member post I posted. I'll go through a couple. So this is just randomly a disaster picture. It's a disaster area. We're in the middle of moving, or not moving, but I'm packing everything and cleaning it all up and consolidating all my good stuff like TCG cards and anime figures and stuff. And just organizing it again. This was all set up before, and now it's taken apart, and we're slowly packing it up. I also post random stuff like this. There's my doggo. Here's a quick video. This might be a dumb video to show, but we're gonna show it. At least a little bit. So this is the type of random content you might get from memberships. So this is just like me randomly doing Automaton Tower and me playing a random game on the right side, actually an old SNES game, while I was grinding. So you can see here I decided to start recording because I ended up, this is my first game playing back. I used to play this game as a kid so much, one of the best sports games ever. But we're the bottom of the ninth. I'm the Mariners here. And you can see I am down 1 point in the bottom of the ninth with Ken Griffey Jr. up. And I decided to upload this because you get to see how the rest of the game unfolds. Nothing to do with Epic 7, but you can see how I actually grind in my own natural habitat. There's going to be other stuff too. Like I've posted characters. You'll also get to help decide who I use. I'll put up Paul's, stuff like that. You know, just the usual stuff. And I want to give back while also allowing people to give back as well if they are so interested in it. So today we are actually going to read this. That was a long intro, but I think it's not important, but I think it's something people will really like if they like that type of content, and that's what I was going for. When I sub to somebody, I want to get this from them. So that's kind of what I was going for. Just posting random stuff. It'll be a daily thing too. I'm going to be posting stuff daily. Later today, for example, I'll probably post a video on a random abyss floor I'm clearing and how I learn about it. There may not be commentary. There won't always be commentary, but you'll see how I actually do things. So I think that's kind of cool. So let's read this. So this is, of course, in response. So if you're not familiar with what's going on, the last 3 days, I think, have all been covering this crap. I want to cover something else, but also this is pretty darn important. So we get to look at this. So we would like to extend our sincerest apologies for any inconvenience and confusion stemming from the recent Awakened Potential update. Yeah, there's been quite a few. We've been closely monitoring your feedback through various channels and would like to address some concerns and provide additional details. So regarding Ancient Potential for new heroes, we have received feedback from many of our heirs regarding the implementation of the Awakened Potential system on newly released heroes. We acknowledge that this decision was made hastily without taking into account the potential pressure it might place on our heirs. Thus, we will focus more on implementing Awakened Potential on existing heroes instead of new heroes regardless of their starting grade. Huh. So I'm not going to read forward yet. I'm going to comment on that because I think that's massive. And I don't know if I agree with it. So they're missing the point, right? Like, they're entirely missing the point by this. This is their opening, and they have Wait. They were playing this. They were in the bottom of the ninth. And they struck out. The 2 hits before that, they're offside. should we take a moment and relish in the fact that I am 37? And I think that's the first time I have ever made a semi-accurate sports joke in my entire life. Does that make all you sports people happy? Does that like tingle your wingles? I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this. So yeah, so that's the weird thing. I think it's completely missing the mark. The point of this is I actually am excited for Awaken Potential. I haven't heard anybody really say this is a bad thing at a core, right? Like nobody is like, wow, giving new units? That's so lame. I don't want to have fun with my new units, right? Like that's not what we are saying. We are saying we don't want it to be pay to win. That's it. Do this. Make it farmable. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Don't make it pay to win. Make something else pay to win. Make cosmetics pay to win. No, I take that back. Make money off cosmetics, not make cosmetics pay to win. Wow, that was the wrong statement. But you get the idea, right? I'm excited for Awaken Potential. I'm so stoked to look back through old units. But also, with this route, we might end up with specialty changes, right? Like, there's so many specialty changes we just don't have. All the new 3-stars come out trash because they don't have their spec change. They're going to actively design newer characters to suck without their thing if they do this. So I want Awakening Potential on new characters. That's a thing I want. I just don't want it to be ridiculous to get. If anything, find a way to give new characters access to stuff like that easier and allow new characters to be farmable so everybody can catch up on them. So for example, if you summon a new unit, you can spend a week, 2 weeks farming a specific sage and you max them. You max their imprints, you max their awaken potential. You have to do everything else as normal, but that's what I would like. And then for older units, that's where we can pick and choose where we want to invest stuff. If you're doing this, I don't want you to do like one hero every 2 months, like a specialty change. I want you to go all out, and I want it to be a part of the game, and I want that part of the game to be exciting. Holy. We're 7 minutes in. My God. Number 2. Also, I have to say this disclaimer, all my opinion, they don't listen to me. They don't listen. Well, they do actually listen to feedback, but whatever I say, they don't listen to. They listen to the compilation of feedback I give. So for example, this might be my feedback for this, but it's not what I would bring to them. I would bring an amalgamation of what my community and comments and Discord and everybody I talk to think. Just to be super clear on that. So even if everybody was against just what I said here, I wouldn't bring this up, right? Like I wouldn't bring that up to them. That's not the feedback I would give because that's just me thinking that way. Just to be clear as we go through. That's why it doesn't so matter as much what somebody thinks, more about how they report, if that makes sense. So yeah, so direction of improvements heading forward. We recognize the need for... Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. One of the things the new representative, which is... God damn, I forget his name. Is it RSL? I think it's RSL. Yeah, RSL here. They make sure that anytime I give feedback, it is connected to community in some way. So, for example, if I was to say what I just said about that last bit of information, it would have to, in order to have an impact on their decision and how important it was, have comments from you guys alongside the video, for example, or Discord PMs or Discord comments, stuff we can show them that it's the community, right? So, one of the questions I had, I've been complaining about Mulagora lately because it's been brutal for me. And one of the questions I had is feedback from the community, not just me, right? I need those alongside. The exact word they used was, if there is a sync, what he said here, I'm sorry, Aerosol, if you watch this, but I gave feedback about Mulagora. I actually gave them an unlisted video to watch, which I might post on the membership channel too. I might post it publicly though too. But they say, I could be wrong, but I've just haven't seen too many players bringing up Mulagora on our social platforms. If there are a significant amount of others that agree with you, please let me know from screenshots or polls that you may have collected. So I think with Mulagora, for example, there's a bunch of people who have a ton of them and they never complain about it because they complain about equipment instead. Whereas people that have been playing for a long time like me that are missing a ton of Mulagora have the equipment but don't have the Mulagora. So it's the same argument just on different sides of things depending on how long you've played and your perspective on how your equipment is versus others. Holy crap, it's sidetrack o'clock today. Let's go. Direction of improvements heading forward. We recognize the need of a more structured feedback process and are actively working to enhance it. We are thoroughly reviewing all the feedback you've provided, including your suggestions for improvements after the Awaken Potential upgrade. I think this is trash. You can't say you're continuing to review your feedback. You can't say we're working to enhance it. We can't say they've been using the feedback we've given back when they do things like the monthly or however often they happen balance patches that are very often anger inducing from the community and say they're putting them a week earlier so they can change in response to the community. I don't think they've ever really done anything, right? Like everything always goes in exactly how it says. Our words are not respected in terms of changing them in that week time, and what they originally promised us is not true. So that's another reason why people are a little bit concerned, because we can directly take this line, apply it to like 3 other places in the game, and realize our feedback was not really realized there. Do note, a lot of the feedback has changed eventually, but not in the time period where it was suggested, and it happened. The problem that needed fixing happened long enough to do damage, if that makes sense. We are committed to consistently reviewing and implementing improvements to alleviate the new challenge and pressures associated with hero growth. That I do agree, they have been working on it. This entails considering various aspects, including disparities among different eras. Yeah, there is a massive disparity. It is wild. Did you know if a new player started today, no new content ever came out in terms of characters, but we still got the same amount of mullahs and everything, it'd take like 10 years to max everybody. And that's a lot, right? Like, obviously 10 years is a ridiculous time, and maxing everybody is a ridiculous time, but you get an idea, and you actually get like less mullah a month than mullah has been required for new units recently, right? So, that is a very insane thing to think of. Like, I couldn't imagine starting the game now. I'd quit. Like, new players right now, if you're playing new, as a new player, how do you handle this? Like, I can understand casual players, collectors coming, but how do you, if you want to compete and or be a little bit experimental, how are you handling hero growth? Just in general, not just Mulagora, just in general. As a new or returning player, both of them seems wild. I can't imagine playing like that. Introducing new memories, methods to acquire memory shards with added convenience functions, refining the direction for balancing targets. Okay, that I'd like to see. And improving the hero selection process for Awakened Potential. Okay, so this was kind of a non-answer. I think they kind of dodged everything, said basically trust us, bro. Like, that's all this is trust us, bro, right? And they don't have a great record with trust us bros. But I am reading this already being hopeful. Do note, I am hopeful. I have been hopeful, and I'm excited for this in the long run. I think it's going to suck at the start, and I think people are going to complain, but I think in the long run, this is going to be good for the game, because I'm very excited to try out more units and everything, and still, they need to make it accessible, basically. But think about it, as somebody, like, if you're like me, and I feel like a lot of our viewers are like me, right? Like, you're the type of person who really enjoys having fun with units. They like their Araminta equivalent. Like, your Araminta might be Chloe, for example, or it might be Wanderer Silk, or it might be Bale and Cezanne, right? All units that are great and fun to use, but not really accessible to invest in, right? But we do it anyway because it's fun and it's what drives us and what keeps us playing these games. So I want to know how many of you are in that position, and are you excited for this? Because the amount of potential for shaking things up and just solving a lot of the problems within the game and units are great. Like, for example, let's take a look at Charles. I believe I read something about like his attacks can't miss. I don't know if that's true, but he basically gets resolute technique, but he doesn't he can still crit and can't miss anything, right? So that is pretty sick, and that can completely change the character and make them meta. Somebody like Araminta, for example, could have some way to protect herself. Maybe she removes debuffs on her turn, or maybe she lands stuns more, or something like that to make her into a completely different character, right? There's so many things you can do with that. That said, my ideal situation is a choice for it, right? Like, I like the ideas of EEs, and I think that's essentially what they're doing here, is another version of EEs with another line of money making with imprints, right? This is a lot to think about, guys. Like, this is such a major change, and I don't remember major changes like this going over well with games that have been long standing like this. And I'm just crossing my fingers. I'm just getting happy, hoping and getting excited. But the main thing I want to mention here is I really don't agree with this part. This part is not the problem. This is actually like the solution, right? Like, this is how to incorporate it right and make people happy, right? Is to give people the awakened potential and new heroes, right? And let it be farmable. And I don't mean farmable like wait a month, maybe get one imprint, right? I don't mean that. I don't mean like buy your monthly slate from the wherever. Like, that's not what I think. I mean, like, if I want to farm it like hunts and let me awaken potential somebody. That's what I'm getting at. You can even make it random, which would be fun. Like, I should stop the video here before I keep talking. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Just kidding. People left though, but I think they should make it random and maybe have like a pool of units you can drop awakened potential for. So like have a hunt and have the hunt drop something. Maybe it drops gold, maybe it drops gear, maybe it drops stones, but also there's a pool of imprints you can basically farm, and they're super rare drops. They're super random. You might get Chloe's, you might get Prows. I don't know. I think that would be entertainingly fun. Anyway, and maybe get Catalyst there too. Like, find a place we can grind in one spot that like encourages unit building. Maybe it takes 8 people instead of 4, and have it drop all the things that are problematic to the player base, that are super massive blocks. Like, maybe if the game is having problem with Molagora, maybe it'll drop Molagora. If the game is currently releasing a new unit, maybe it will heavily have the drop rate of the new unit's imprint. Maybe if the game is out of, and I just mean the general state in the game, like when we get really low on Catalyst and people start complaining about that, maybe add Catalyst to it. Something like that. Like some sort of catch-all place that changes depending on what the game needs. I don't know. I'm out of ideas, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe as always, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.